Good day, champions. Welcome to another day of learning. I am Sir Alex, leading you to become champions of learning. Today's lesson is all about the kinds of quantitative research, its characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses. This is lesson 1 of quarter 1, module 2. Let us have a rundown of our objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to define what quantitative research is, compare and contrast qualitative and quantitative research based on criteria and standards, and number 3, identify the characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses of quantitative research. So what is quantitative research? Quantitative research makes you focus your mind on specific things using statistics that involve the collection and study of numerical data. That's according to Baraceros, 2017. More so, when you say quantitative research, it deals with quantifying and analyzing variables to get results and involves the utilization and analysis of numerical data using specific statistical techniques to answer questions like who, how much, what, where, when, how many, and how. If you will be observing with the former definition and with this current definition, the words specific, statistics, and numerical data are recurring. To strengthen our understanding about quantitative research, let us differentiate it from qualitative research. Let's study this table. In the first column of this table, you will be seeing the criteria or the point of comparison. The second column is all about qualitative research or facts about qualitative research. And on the third column, you will be seeing there the facts about quantitative research. So let me correct that. Qualitative research aims to understand and interpret social interaction. It also deals with a small number of respondents, and those respondents are not randomly selected. Qualitative research is a study of the whole and does not look at the variables specifically. In terms of the type of data collected, it collects words, images, or objects through open-ended responses, interviews, participant measurements using structured and observations, field notes, and reflection. And at the end of the analysis, it deals with patterns, features, and themes. On the other end, when you say quantitative research, it aims to test hypotheses, look at cause and effect, and make predictions. It also deals with a large number of respondents who were randomly selected. In quantitative research, specific variables are being studied. It collects numbers and statistics on precise or based on precise, validated data collection instruments. In terms of data analysis, it will now give you statistical relationships. Let us now move on to these points of comparison or standards of comparison, such as objectivity and subjectivity, role of the researcher, results, and scientific need. Qualitative research is more subjective and we can experience biases since the interpretation of data is based on the interpretation of the researcher. In terms of the result, the findings are less generalizable since we are only dealing with a few number of respondents. As to scientific method, this is called exploratory or bottom-up since you would like to have a deeper understanding of why the phenomena is happening. On the other hand, when we say quantitative research, it is more objective and less biased. We can also generalize the findings, saying that if we do have a population of 1,000 and we get a sample of 100, the opinion of the 100 is the opinion of the 1,000. In terms of scientific method, this is also confirmatory or top-down. Since in quantitative research, we test the hypothesis and we try to confirm the hypothesis and try to reject or accept the hypothesis. Let us now have the difference between qualitative and quantitative research based on view of human behavior, most common research objectives, focus, nature of observation, nature of reality, and final report. In the lens of qualitative research, it views human behavior as something that is dynamic, situational, social, and personal. When it comes to the objectives, qualitative research would like to explore, to discover, and construct. We can also say that in qualitative research, it has a wide angle lens. In other words, it has a deeper understanding of why the phenomena is happening. We do not also take away the respondents or the subject of research from their natural environment. Instead, we study their behavior in their natural environment. At the last part, we end up with a narrative report. In the lens of quantitative research, it views human behavior as something that is regular and predictable. It also has the following objectives, such as to describe, to explain, and to predict. In terms of lens, quantitative research has a narrow angle lens because they only administer a questionnaire and then test a specific hypothesis. In terms of nature of observation, the study of behavior is under controlled condition. This is more evident in experimental researches, and as a result, we end up with a statistical report. After discussing now the difference between qualitative and quantitative research, we can now focus on the characteristics of quantitative research. Number one, it is objective. Number two, it has clearly defined research question. So at the onset of the conduct of the study, you already have in mind what you will be answering at the end of your study. Number three, it has a structured research instrument such as questionnaire. And number four, it deals with numerical data that can be presented in terms of figures, tables, or graphs. The number five characteristic of quantitative research is that it uses large sample size, and such sample size is determined through random sampling. It also has the characteristic of replicability or replication, meaning to copy or to duplicate. To contextualize that, for example, we have a foreign study that you would like to adopt in our setting, and that's totally fine. So I don't see any problem with that because quantitative research has that characteristic of replicability. Number seven, when you say quantitative research, it also has or it can predict future results. That's why research is used in all fields such as science, such as education, business, and the like. I think we now have an understanding about quantitative research and its characteristics. This time around, let's move on to the strengths and weaknesses of quantitative research. Let's have a rundown of the strengths. Number one, it is objective. It is also valid and reliable. Number two, the use of statistical techniques facilitates sophisticated analysis and allows you to comprehend a huge amount of vital characteristics of data. Number three, it is real and unbiased. Number four, the numerical data can be analyzed quickly and easily. Number five, quantitative studies are replicable. Number six, quantitative experiments are useful for testing the results gained by a series of qualitative experiments leading to a final answer and narrowing down of possible directions to follow. Let us now put our attention on the disadvantages of quantitative research. Number one, quantitative research requires a large number of participants because it assumes that the larger the sample list, the more statistically accurate the findings are, and therefore it is costly. And number three, the information and contextual factors to help interpret the results or to explain variations are usually ignored. It does not consider the distinct capacity of the respondents to share and elaborate on further information, unlike qualitative research that deals with in-depth interview. Because in quantitative research, you give the questionnaire and you let the respondents answer such questionnaire. Therefore, by doing so, much information is difficult to gather using structured research instruments, specifically on sensitive issues like premarital sex, domestic violence, among others, because the respondents are limited to that of what is indicated in your questionnaire. Number five, if not done seriously and correctly, data from questionnaires may be incomplete and inaccurate. Researchers must be on the lookout on respondents who are just guessing and answering the instruments. And that's the trouble of quantitative research. You will be seeing there that some of the respondents will just check the questionnaire and then without reading the statement. So, in other words, you will be coming up with a result that is not really accurate and that is not really valid. There you have it, my dear students. Those are the kinds of quantitative research, its characteristics, its strengths, and weaknesses. I hope you learned something in this episode, and yours truly, once again, this is Sir Alex leading you to become champions of learning.